Welcome to another episode of the Asian Cards Show. Today we have none other than Ken Goldin. I'm sure that Ken needs no introduction. He is the founder of Goldin Auctions. How's it going, Ken?
It's going great. How about you, Raymond?
I am doing well. Just another beautiful day in Hawaii.
Great.
Yeah. So for
Always.
those who don't know you, can you maybe give a little bit of a background of yourself, your backstory, how you got into the hobby? I think a lot of people would be curious to hear about that.
Sure. So the short answer is I'm Ken Goldin. I founded Goldin Auctions in 2012, and I am the founder and executive chairman. And Goldin has grown from when I founded it with, started it with 3 employees and myself, from $800,000 in sales to last year we did 330 million, and hopefully this year we can, do $500 million. As I was telling you before the podcast, I've done this my whole life. I got into cards probably earlier than most people. I literally was opening up packs of cards as a 7-year-old. I was a Steve Carlton fan, the Phillies back then, and they were my team, so I was looking for his first Philly cards, and I was just collecting as a hobby until one day I had a couple friends over, and look, this is I'm in my 50s, so I'm a little older than the new collectors that have joined the hobby in the past 5 years, and which is good because I've seen every cycle, every up and down and up and down and up and down and so on. But so back in the day, these electric cars were all the rage. I had this nice new track I'd gotten as a present with these electric cars, and you hold the button, and they raced around the track. So one of my friends was fascinated by it and said, "Hey, would you trade your track set for my sports card collection?" And I instantly said yes, because I had seen his sports card collection. Cards, listen, this is pre-internet. This is pre-cell phone. This is pre-price guide. There were not even written price guides back in the day. So nobody had any idea, but I did that. I looked at his cards and I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. Today, those cards probably would be worth $50,000, and that track set would probably be worth $20. So I started, and then I was at a flea market one day with my father, and this guy walked up to a card dealer. It was on a Sunday, and I was looking for bargains, sifting through his boxes, and he said, "Do you buy cards?" to the dealer. And the guy said, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, can you come with me? I've got a large collection." And the guy said, "No, can you come back on Tuesday? Today's my busy day." I heard the guy muttering to himself, "Oh, well, I left." He goes, "What? I ship out tomorrow." So I hit my dad, I said, follow him. And I think I was 12. So I said, "Excuse me." I was tiny back then. I'm 6'1" now, but I was probably like 4'10". I don't know, squeaky voice. And I said, "Can I see your cards?" So he took us back to this big old car from, probably 1978 with a giant trunk. We opened up, and there's like 6 or 7 giant bags of, hefty bags, all stuffed with cards. And I said, "What do you want for it?" And he said, $100. So I said, Dad, pay him. My dad reached in his wallet, literally had like $70 in his wallet. Held out like something. I took $70 out of my dad's hand and said, "Will you take $70 for it?" He said, "Okay." So we backed up my dad's car, loaded the hefty bags in, drove into my house. I carried the bags into my basement. My family, my school, my friends, nobody saw me probably for 3 months until I sorted out every single card. So I made complete sets of like many cards from the 60s and 70s. And then I had all these thousands of duplicates. So I tried to figure out, how do I sell these duplicates? So that's how I started my business. The purpose was to sell the cards I did not want and keep the ones I wanted. So I did that all through middle school and high school. Some weeks selling as much as $2,000 a week, which back then is really good money. Again, no price guides, no nothing. I probably paid like $1 a card for T206 Ty Cobb cards, just to put that in perspective, like $1, $1. People would come in with tobacco cards, and I would say, "Okay, I'll give you $1 and I'd buy like 600 cards. Nobody knew. And that's really what happened. And so I was doing that all through high school, all through college. One day my dad called me and said, "Hey, you know, all these trading card shops are popping up all over the country. Do you want to, I think we can service them. I think I can raise money. I said, okay, you're going to raise money publicly. I'll do it with you. To my shock, he raised money and we started Scoreboard. So we started Scoreboard, which was originally to buy cards, break them up, and sell the superstars that people wanted to individual stores. But it evolved into dealing with athletes. And of course, I founded Classic back in 1991. And that was my big thing. Actually, 1990 came up with the idea of draft picks. So I started doing draft pick sets of the famous Shaquille O'Neal draft pick cards, Kobe Bryant draft pick cards, Classic. Those are all me. Those are all my contracts. And my dad died in '94. All the leagues went out, and I just said, I just sold off part of the company. And when my contract ended in '97, I said, I'm not renewing, started my own thing. And really from 98 to 2010, I was the TV guy. I would sell product to QVC and HSN and, trading cards and sports memorabilia. And that's, again, all I did. And, that market started to slow. And I said, I've got all these customers that have bought me from the years. I've got all of these, athletes I do business with. I've got all these dealers that have always bought and sold and supplied me. And there was a lot of negativity about the auction market. Some of the stuff about Master was just coming out. So I said, I'm going to start an auction business. And that's how I came up with the idea to start Goldin Auctions. And it was, obviously by far the biggest success of my life. To put it in perspective now, we have about 95 employees. We have 2 buildings in New Jersey that are over 30,000 square feet. We, if we do $25 million in an auction, we consider it a slow auction. I have investors like, Mark Cuban, Peter Chernin, Kevin Durant, Dwayne Wade, Peyton Manning, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Blake Griffin, CJ McCullough, you name it, they invested in Goldin. And it is a dream. I feel like I literally never work a day in my life. I can literally buy a box of cards for $10,000, open it up on Instagram and say it's part of my job. But yeah, I mean, what I've tried to do with Goldin, the different approach I took is I always felt that people like you and I who are serious about collecting and are going to find the product wherever it is, I don't need to market. I do not need to introduce my company to you because you're going to find me if I have good product. What I really wanted to do was expand the hobby. I wanted to go out on ESPN and CNBC and Fox Business and Bloomberg and Good Morning America and all these other places. And, since I had that background of being on TV so many years, of selling the hobby, which is why I'm on TV so much and why I do make so many videos, because I feel that I've really helped grow the pie. And a lot of people, credit my company with exploding the market really in late 2019 with the Exquisite find. But in early 2020, right before COVID hit, we sold that Lebron James Logoman, the Lebron Jordan for $900,000. That's the first time people were like, oh my God, modern cards are a thing. Wow, what are we missing here? But that's always what I try and do, because I figure if I can bring more people around the world into collecting, it's just going to, put more collectors in the hobby and, raise the value of everybody's holdings.
Yeah, that's certainly an interesting perspective. Like right now, I feel like within the hobby, there's kind of a lot of talk between like dividing the pie between like a lot of the, buyers and sellers of cards, auction houses, consignment shops, but there's not a whole lot of talk of expanding the entire pie, which I think is an interesting angle that I don't think enough people talk about. I guess speaking of expanding the pie, can you maybe talk a little bit about the Netflix documentary that you're in the process of producing?
Sure. So, we're filming right now. Been filming for a couple months now. Still filming. It is, I'm allowed to publicly talk about what's been disclosed. So I will say, yes, there is a a Netflix series. Netflix has purchased a series about me and about Goldin, my company. It obviously focuses on the world of collectibles. It is going to be very item specific. You know, the items are the most important thing. Whether it is, you know, whether it's somebody who finds a bat used by Babe Ruth, you know, somewhere, or whether it's a kid who in 2003 opened up one pack of cards and they happened to pull a Lebron RPA and they kept it ungraded raw for 18 years, and all of a sudden it's graded and they're going to make $1 million and they never knew. Or whether it's about somebody who participates in a break, spends $200 and pulls a $500,000 card, or whether it's about a rare comic book. But you know, it's the story is what's important. You know, how this affects the person, which means yes, a lot of the people I do business with who consign are going to show up. It's about the people who buy it. It's about the item and the importance of the item, the significance of the item, and really what I am most encouraged about is that the show is being taken incredibly, incredibly seriously by everybody involved. When I say everybody, I mean, you know, let's start with my executive producers. So I've got one executive producer named Brent Montgomery. He is the owner of Wheelhouse, founder of Wheelhouse Studios, and he has a number of shows on Netflix now, all reality shows, but he's most famous for being the creator of Pawn Stars. Obviously a very successful show. I can't remember if it's running 17 years or 27 years, but it's like extremely long running popular show. Next executive producer, a gentleman named Connor Shell, probably not a household name to everybody. Connor was head of production for ESPN. Two of his main credits are he invented the 30 for 30 series, and he is the executive producer behind what I think you and I would consider the greatest documentary of all time, The Last Dance. So am I wrong there?
Not at all.
Okay. I mean, that was the greatest, but that's his credit. And my third executive producer recently announced himself at the Mint Collective, and he needs no introduction. That's Peyton Manning. Yep. So those are my three executive producers, and you know, they are looking at it, and Netflix are looking at it as not as a one. It is not a documentary. It is a TV series, much in the same way that Pawn Stars is a TV series or Shark Tank is a TV series. Everybody involved is looking at this as an annuity, whereas that we come out with season 1, this is season 2, this is season 3, this is season 10. You know, if I want to be doing this for 15 years, hopefully I've got the opportunity to be doing it for 15 years. And we are hopeful, you know, they're hopeful that it's an amazing success and they have got 40 million people around the world watching it, because keep in mind, it's going to be in 42 different languages. So, you know, it's not just going to be, you know, anywhere that gets Netflix, you know. So in China, they will find a Ken Goldin to dub my voice, and, you know, in Chinese, and I will be speaking Chinese. I will be speaking Japanese. I will be speaking German. I would have been speaking Russian if it were not for what's going on. I doubt they'll be doing that. I'll be speaking Hebrew, everything, Spanish, French. But the hope is that it really sparks a lot of people to run to their attics and see what they have, to, of course, go to Goldin and look online and see what we have, but go to their local card shops, go to their local flea markets, go to their local stores, you know, participate. It's a worldwide thing. So we're hoping that this really, you know, takes it. Like they say when Queen's Gambit came out, chess popularity rose, and searches for chess on Google increased by like 30,000%. You know, if we can have that effect, you know, I'd like to have a more positive effect on growing the hobby by this show than Fanatics thinks that they're going to have by expanding the pie. I mean, that's what they're talking about as well, expanding the pie, bringing fans in. I think this is a great opportunity to do that. And, you know, I can't state when the show will air. I have no control over that. I know they've got to edit it. I know they got to dub it. I know I love it. I know everybody involved with it loves it. I know all the people that we worked with as guests love it. And I know that when I've told people that it's confidential, that they're filming for the show, it's pretty much hell, because I haven't seen a single person that I've filmed with mention anything on their social or anywhere else. So I think the good thing about it is it's a pro hobby show. It is going to be putting the hobby in the absolute best light possible with professional people and professional business dealings. I think it's going to be exciting. I think parts of it are going to be funny. And I think hopefully we can be a success if, you know, a mom and a dad and their kids can all watch it together and they find something in there for, you know, for everybody.
Exactly. I feel like there's kind of like that whole story where it's like, you know, I discovered cards during COVID. I collected as a kid, looked in my mom's attic, found a bunch of cards. Maybe this will be like kind of the second coming, right? Where it's like, okay, you know, I saw Ken's documentary, saw episodes 1, you know, 1, 2, 3. Was inspired to kind of go. I also think the international aspect is really interesting. Like I think there is like a lot of opportunity when it comes to, you know, international markets, when it comes to sports fans in general. You know, I grew up in China. Basketball is huge there, and like people are, you know, very, very passionate about it. They're not just, you know, they're not like flipper cards. They're people who, you know, collect like certain types of cards, who know the cards inside and out. So I think like the international aspect of, you know, just reaching a lot of people in like Europe and Asia and China and the Philippines, Singapore, right? Like that aspect is going to be, I think exciting for me. I guess in terms of.
And one other thing, with that in mind, we are very aware of the fact that this, you know, we want this show to be popular worldwide. So I will tell you that there are, you know, there are going to be individuals in the show that may be bringing us an item or talking about an item from all over the world, from different continents. So hopefully there's something to appeal to everybody. We took great lengths to not only find interesting items, but interesting owners. And by the way, and everything obviously is, you know, everything is, you know, these are things, you know, when you see the show, if you're in the hobby, when you see the show, you're going to say, oh my God, I remember when that ran. I mean, listen, you may win an item. Like we have our May Elite running right now. It ends Saturday, May 21st. I mean, there may be something that you see and you like and you bid on and you win it. And then you find out that that's featured in a TV series, and that may add additional value to your item down the road.
Yeah, like just hearing the story, the provenance of it. By the way, can you show us some of the items that are ending in 2 days on your Goldin May auctions?
Sure. So let me see what I got here. Let me start. I'll start with this one because this is pretty cool. This is the 2009. How do I get to this? Okay, here we go. Right here, 2009 Curry Gold Refractor. What's interesting about this Topps Chrome Gold is that this is actually card number 1.
Wow.
So this is a limited edition of 50. This is number 1 of 50, and this is lot 23 in the auction. Now, I know Curry is 23. I know Curry is very popular right now. So I got some playoff guys. I'm gonna put on these awful glasses, which I hate wearing, but sometimes I have to. This is one of the stars.
Oh wow! Zoom back a little bit so people can see the auto.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow! Logoman, rookie.
Logoman rookie, 2009.
Wow.
This is from Absolute, and it of course is a 1 of 1. This is lot number 1. You got the 10 auto there. Let me just see. And I also, when I look for cards, I try and look for guys that might, if they do something unexpected, might really jump up a lot. And this is one of those guys, Jimmy Butler. Okay, there are not a ton of Jimmy Butler collectors out there, but we've got, which one is this? So this is his NT Gold, limited to 5, NT Gold rookie RPA, and limited to 5, and it's a BGS 9.5. Right now, this card is literally under $10,000. You know, if Miami pulls it off and wins the NBA championship, you know, what can possibly happen? What can possibly happen to the card? Now, I think most people, this I've got to show. So this is just a ridiculous card. This is a autographed Michael Jordan 1/1. This is lot number 9 in the auction. It is the final floor autograph 1/1, and it's got a 10 autograph, and a lot of the autographs were very weak on this, and this is actually from the area where he took his last shots. So this particular card is very, very, very unique. If I had to guess, the hobby is probably rooting for this guy, only because so many people are invested in Luka.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Is that out of 10 is the gold?
That is the 10. That is the gold. This is number 7 of 10.
Yeah. International jersey number 2.
Yep.
So,
and there you see it's 10 autograph on the back. But again, so we've got, and then I'll just show, just because I have to, can't go anywhere at Goldin without finding a big Lebron.
Oh, is that a True Gem Plus? Like there's a 10.
Yeah, this is a True Gem Plus, 3 9.5s and a 10.
That's crazy.
So, and there you go. And this is number 42 of 50, and that is lot number 7. So those are just a few of the bigger cards we have we have up right now at Goldin.
So that's awesome. Yeah, I was looking through the catalog. I usually look a few days before the auction ends. Certainly a lot of nice stuff. I'm most excited about the Verstappen Dynasty patch in BGS 9.5. I think that one's really underrated. And
F1 is definitely hot. After we sold the Hamilton Super, the unsigned version, for 900,000, I think a lot of people said, "Oh my God!" And that's an example of international bidding right there. And that's one of the great things that we have, is that we, I think it's really, especially in the Asian market, we're really strong. I think we got a lot of bidders in 2013 when Kobe Bryant's mom came to me and consigned all that stuff. We were playing on the crawl all over ESPN, and we had so many bidders join from Asia, whether it's China, whether it's Japan, whether it's the Philippines, which is so many. As a result of that auction, we've always done well. And we also have we've got a relationship with Mint in Japan. I actually saw a setup. They've got like a Goldin pop-up shot in their store. I mean, I saw pictures of it today. I'm like, oh my God, wow. Like people can go there directly and drop stuff off of Goldin right at their location.
What are Goldin's plans to expand in Asia or other countries internationally? Whether that's in the near term or in the long term, if you don't mind sharing.
First of all, the first thing I would tell you is that if there's anybody watching who lives in Asia and loves cards and is looking for a job, we are hiring. We are looking for people in China, especially, but anywhere in Asia to work for us. You can email ken@goldin.co. Literally, you can send me a resume, ken@goldin.co or ken@goldinauctions.com. But as far as the physical storefront, I don't know. We don't have stores anywhere. We've got one headquarters. Obviously, PSA is a sister company. So, with that in mind, if they have offices, that's something that one day will we open a gallery there and let people look at stuff, let people drop off. That's probably very likely something like a drop-off location and a consignment. But we are looking for boots on the ground in Asia. We have a consignment director all throughout the United States, Canada, and we have one right now in the UK. So we definitely would love to get a few qualified people in Asia to work for Goldin.
Would that segment of the business be focused more on the auction side or on private deals?
That side of the business will be both, and we're trying to grow our private sales division. We have we have a lot of really high-end card guys that work for Goldin, and they handle consignments as well as private sales. The private sales of this would be somebody, we don't want somebody to focus on one, just one, both. Somebody may want to, consign, somebody may want to do private sales. So if we're hiring somebody, we want them to have the ability to handle both.
I see. Yeah, because like for me, like I've always been super interested in the private sales side. Like not all of it obviously is public. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of speculation about private sales, and a lot of the stuff that you kind of hear through the grapevine. So that's just something that I've always been personally really interested in.
Our two biggest, we have two sales this year of cards, both over $4 million. Not what was, not the modern record of 5.2, but both over 4 million. One is a modern basketball card, and one is a vintage card, and they both were sold privately.
Both are
By
sold
us
privately.
in our first quarter. Yes. So on those two occasions, the individual seller and buyer asked us not to announce or show the card, which I hate. And the reason I hate that is, if you were buying a card, like if you saw an auction, you were buying a card, and let's say, let me take that card for example, because this is not it. But let's say if you knew that a high grade of that card had sold for $2 million, and there had been none auctioned previously over like $1 million, that will help you make an educated decision when you buy. I've not been able to announce them, but I do have an agreement that I will be able to give the data to Card Ladder. So one day, both of these cards are simply just going to pop up into Card Ladder's data, which is what PSA uses for their price guide and submissions, and then people will see it. But I think private sales are important. I understand a lot of people want to keep the information private. Sometimes it's literally somebody doesn't want them to, want the person they bought the card to know that they sold it and how much money they made off them. Because you know how it goes. If people, I need this for my personal collection, I'm never going to sell it. And then 3 months later, they sell it, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want someone to know, and it's a case of one of those things. But yeah, there were two really big sales we made, both over $4 million. One is a vintage card. The other is a modern basketball card. And I will close my mouth at that, because I've said enough with the modern basketball. People who are smart are probably taking a bet and at least narrowing it down to 2 or 3 players it could possibly be, and 2 or 3 years it could possibly be. And I would say your guess is right.
Keep an eye on Card Ladder. One day it'll just magically pop up. So that's really interesting. I didn't know about that, but that's really exciting. Speaking of which, does Goldin plan on being involved in the transaction of the Lebron triple Logoman? That was like really exciting. That caused the hobby to blow up in like the past few weeks. I was kind of shocked when it got pulled that soon.
Yeah.
But any thoughts on that? How much do you think it's worth?
I think, look, obviously, if you literally Google Lebron triple Logoman, a picture of me comes up, like literally me with Drake. So I think Goldin is certainly the natural place to sell it. It kind of completes the story. We were searching for it. Drake hopped on my Instagram live. Then I went to Canada. We opened up all these flawless cases. I opened up cases with Sean and with Les, and I think it is a trophy card for the hobby. It is one of those things that has broken through mainstream, where the common ordinary person will know what a LeBron James triple Logoman is, because so much of the media attention it got. And I think that I know that we would do the best job on it. And obviously it's something that I'm trying to get and working on personally. And if and when we have something to announce, it will be part of a marketing plan, and it'll be announced.
Yeah, it's an awesome card. I feel like it's something that even someone, if they were into cards, you showed it to them, they'd be like, wow, that's a beautiful card.
I think that's a card that if I had, I can get LeBron James to bid on. So,
that's awesome.
I know I can get Kevin Durant to bid on it. He's a shareholder. I know I can get Kevin to bid on it.
It's funny. What was Breaking with Drake like? I think a lot of us would like to hear about kind of like the behind the scenes, or however much you're willing to share on that.
Okay. About what? I'm sorry, I missed the question.
What was meeting and breaking with Drake like?
Oh man. So Drake was the absolute coolest. So I think Drake was the coolest. What people need to know about Drake's relationship with me is that this was not the first business deal I had with Drake. So Drake, through his manager, started buying from me. And if you watch the video, you know, he talks about some of the things he's bought from me over the years when I was with him. But he started buying from me, I think, in 2016. So his collection of stuff he bought from me consisted of rap memorabilia and sports memorabilia, typically like jerseys. I found him who was it? I found him oh my God, the F1 before Hamilton. Who's the GOAT? The original.
Senna?
Schumacher.
Oh, Schumacher, yeah.
Michael Schumacher, yeah. So I found him a Michael Schumacher helmet, a lot of jerseys. I remember when Zion was in college, while still in college, I had to find him an autographed Duke Zion jersey. That was a neat trick, but I pulled it off. But I never spoken to him personally until he hopped on my Instagram Live, but he was just like chatting with me. But meeting in person, it was like meeting an old friend. I mean, we hugged, he gave me his numbers. What people don't realize is I think I spent about 7 hours there. We went live probably 2.5, 3 hours, but I was there for about 7 hours. I just hopped a plane. I actually rented a private plane. And I said, okay, I'm going to fly these cards to Canada and I'm not going to deal with anything. I'm just going to go right in, not worry about, the whole bit. It's a lot easier if you fly private. And flew private, went to Canada, and it was great. He had a massive dinner prepared. We watched the Oscars, but what was great is he had never opened up a card before. Never. Like the man literally never held a pack. So, the plan was that we were going to go in and I was going to open up the 86 Fleer box because, the cards wanted to be handled, a certain way, and that the guys that break us from David Adams were going to break the flawless in front of us, kind of like an old fat, like they do, like that's their job. That's what they do. And, do a presentation. I got there and I'm like, screw this. This guy's got to touch some cards. So I think I opened up 2 packs and I said, Drake, open up a pack. He goes, no. I said, Drake, open up a pack. You're not going to break it. Open up a pack. And he reached in and he picked like the 3rd or 4th pack from the top on the one side, picked it, and he got a Jordan's first pack. And the joy on his face of getting a Michael Jordan rookie card was literally the same as if you were opening up an 86 pack, or the same if a 12-year-old boy was opening up an 86 pack, or anybody else was really in the hobby of opening up. It was great. I mean, it was true joy. He was really excited. Now we know that even if that Jordan was a 10, it would in no way financially impact his life. However, the excitement of being able to pull a Grail card was meaningful to him. He truly enjoyed it. We left the night trying to figure out when the next time we can get together with a bunch of flawless cases and do it. And he also gave me like a list of other stuff that he would enjoy breaking. It's not just flawless. There were a couple other, they were all Panini products because, the ultra high end, but all that type of stuff that he would be interested. So it was really cool. He was great. He, again, I don't know how much of that you caught, but he wanted to do like shots on like, okay, every time you don't pull a Jordan or every time you don't get a LeBron, you do a shot. And I'm like, I would be on the floor way before you would, Drake, I am sure. I think I probably did like 6 or 7 shots though. He FaceTimed my daughter who was in college, and I said, you mind facing? Oh, sure. Hey, Laura, how you doing? And just FaceTimed her, talked to her, and so on. But it was just very, very friendly guy. And what was amazing is I knew how important this was for the hobby. Yet at the same time, he was thanking me. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I mean, he was very appreciative of like being part of the hobby community. It was very different than you would possibly expect, and very different than the experience of some other famous individuals who are non-hobbyists who make go to the hobby for a cup of tea and leave some people with a bad impression. This was great all around.
Yeah, like I was very surprised when I was watching the breaks. Like he asked a lot of educated questions. Like I think one time he was like, oh, like look at the centering on this card. He asked me a question
Yep.
about like the way the cards were ordered in the past. Like it sounded like he was genuinely interested in learning more, rather than just opening, trying to get a Fleer Jordan, getting a new grade, and like oh I got this return on a box, right? So that was definitely. I was in Vegas. I was like in a taxi the whole time, just like watching the breaks. It was lagging, but it was saw like 1 drink, 2 drink, 3 drinks.
Oh, and we had hard. That's the other thing. We were in the basement. The restaurant shut down their basement, so we were in the basement of a large restaurant with 2 big security guards outside the door. But the internet was not that great there either, and I'm frustrated because I stopped and I actually lost the entire Fleer break on my personal Instagram. I couldn't save it. Luckily, the guy from Cardporn was there, so he had his version, and then I had Frank from my office with another device. So we actually, for most items, we had 3. For the Flawless, we had 3 different angles, but for the Fleer, we couldn't use mine, which was like the dead-on face-to-face that people actually saw. So I uploaded Cardporns onto my IJ.
I see. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's interesting.
It was me. It was on the plane. It was me. It was Frank. Frank. Some of you may know from Goldin. Frank to know from Goldin, and it was the head of Cardport. We flew up together.
Interesting. So I guess you know who Cardporn is. The rest of us don't.
I do. Yes.
Be forever a mystery. Yeah. Interesting. What happened to I believe it was 3 stickers and like 3 base cards that were pulled, right?
So we did get them graded. Drake wants them. I said, "You want the cards?" He goes, "Yes." They are graded. I would want his permission to reveal the grades, except to say that there were no 10s.
There were no 10s.
So
I see.
So people are looking for a change in the pop report. There were no PSA 10s. They were all PSA graded, and he did get a pedigree. So they are pedigreed Drake cards pulled from the Drake break. But I don't want to step on his toes. Maybe one day he wants to show them on social media or whatnot. And unless he says, "Yeah, Ken, go ahead, show them," I don't want to do that.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I've been like personally like looking at the pop report, and I did see a few 10s pop up recently. Like I think some super modern label PSA 10 Jordans have popped up on like online platforms. So I was personally curious. That's
got it.
Cool. So I guess just some more random questions.
Sure.
One thing I'm personally curious about is PSA and Goldin synergies. PSA bought Goldin last year, and just curious to hear a little bit about the deal dynamics. Like, are there any plans to further integrate PSA and Goldin together down the road? What synergies have been realized so far? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is so PSA did not buy Goldin. PSA was a public company called Collectors Universe, which was PCGS and PSA. They were bought by a group that included Nat Turner, of course, Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, Dan Sunheim, and a group of other investors, including Chernin Group. Chernin Group was one of the individuals that invested heavily in Goldin as well. So we had a situation once they did that acquisition where virtually all of the ownership interest in Goldin that Ken Goldin, me, did not own personally, was owned by people who also happened to own stock in Collectors Universe that was taken private. So in July of last year, and they had had a holding company called Collectors Holdings. So what I agreed to do last year was exchange my remaining shares in Goldin after the investment for shares in the parent company. So at the top of the pyramid, let's say my Perrier, which people know I'm famous for if they watch my lives. The top of the Perrier is Collectors Holdings. On this side is Goldin, which is the marketplace. On this side is PSA, WADA, PCGS, and Card Ladder, anything to do with authentication. We share the same owners, but we are 2 different companies. What happens at Goldin is, the shots are called by the people at Goldin. I do not work for anybody at PSA. Nobody at PSA works for me. Nobody at PSA can tell me what to do. And in fact, pretty much nobody in life if you've worked with me, can tell me what to do. However, it's kind of like Berkshire Hathaway, where, Warren Buffett owns a whole bunch of companies, and if he owns different insurance companies and they can work together, it's great. So,
yeah, I definitely learned a lot during this talk. Definitely learned a lot about PSA, kind of like future plans as well. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners would feel the same way. But really appreciate you having on today, Ken.
Listen, thank you for having me. And again, if you've never looked at Goldin, go to goldinauctions.com or go to goldin.co. I say goldinauctions.com as well, because some people put goldin.com and that's actually a PR agency. So it's goldin.co. Register to bid. The one thing about us is that we do credit check if you want to spend over $10,000. That way, we got a $100,000 card. We don't have somebody who's got $700 in the bank, bidding up a card. So if you do want to spend a lot of money, just send an email and say, hey, I want to get my credit limit raised. And check us out. If anybody's going to be at Atlantic City, check us out. It's right near our backyard at the National Convention, and we will have a sample vault there, and we will have, the collector's vault is going to be in the booth right next to Goldin. So we're going to have the whole experience there and be able to talk about it and explain it to people. And, again, I'm very open. So anytime anybody's got a question, it's ken@goldin.co. Hit me up, or and follow me on social media, and you can DM me there too. I'm Ken Goldin everywhere: Twitter and Instagram, TikTok.
TikTok. One last thing, Goldin Auctions ending this Saturday night, in 2 days.
Exactly. Saturday, May 21st.
Saturday, May 21st.